Our latest episode of the I Fell Into This podcast is with a recruitment diva, Julie Rose, founder of Rhodium Consulting. Julie has been a founder for over 15 years, and we will be discussing her whole journey, including COVID, recessions, highs, lows, and how she is successfully building a remote team. Great to see you, Julie. Thanks for coming along. So firstly, we'll kick off by asking, so how did you fall into recruitment?
I literally did fall into recruitment as well. I was working with horses, actually. I was a riding instructor. But I still lived at home. I knew I wanted to move out at some point, so I needed to get a mortgage. And I just literally at the time, it's a long time ago, so it was the, Evening Standard back then when I lived in London, and just opened up the advert pages and then just went, oh, look, there we go, no experience needed. I'll have a go at that. And I'd done some temp work for a big high street agency when I was about 16, I think. Oh no, I must have been 17. So I had that experience of working for a recruitment agency, but I really didn't know what I was getting myself into. But because it was no experience needed, the guy just gave me a chance, and I fell into recruitment in that way. So I started for an agency which did purely temps, working up in London, all hospitality staff, and I actually started doing the business development side of things. So I was going and trying to get clients by going and visiting all these fantastic places in London, which was absolutely brilliant because I covered the city and the West End. So it was all directors' dining rooms and great big hotels and, butler service, silver service waiting staff. It was all that. So
it's been a great experience then, getting inside. So
it was fantastic.
You fell into it like virtually every recruitment person out there.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, what was your story then from getting into recruitment until you decided to sort of launch your own business?
So I went from doing that business development role to running one of their branches. And I stayed with that company for a number of years. I then moved a couple of times, had children in the meantime as well, and so was working part-time. And I started working part-time for a guy that I'd worked with before. And he basically said to me, oh, you can, do whatever recruitment you want. And it was temp and perm. Hadn't really done much permanent work before. We had the big crash in the credit crunch and that in, when was that?
I'm too young.
Whenever it was. Yeah. It was ages ago. So I started working for this guy and worked for him part-time for about 2 or 3 years. But I always thought that the way he kind of ran his business, it was good, but I wouldn't necessarily do it like that.
Yeah, you had your own ideas from that stage.
Yeah, I had my own ideas, and when I look back on when I worked with horses, I'd always at that point when I was working with horses wanted to run my own business of some sort. My dad previously was entrepreneurial, had his own business.
So it's always kind of in your roots, and I think it probably helps as well if you've got those sort of people around you, does it?
Yeah, I think so. I think because it just gives you that idea that actually you could do it. You
can do it, yeah.
Yeah, you could do it. And, so I was kind of thinking about it, but I was really put off by all the back office stuff. And I was, thought, I'll have to do something else. It can't be recruitment. So I kind of couldn't come up with an idea.
Yeah.
And then I actually came across an advert that SSG had put out on one of the job boards, and that intrigued me because it was all about looking after the back office, and all I needed to do was the front facing stuff. So I just sent my CV in, had a conversation, and here we are.
So how long had you been in recruitment then until you got to that stage?
So I'd been in recruitment about 12 years at that point. Yeah, I'd taken a year off when I had my first child. But apart from that, yeah, about 12 years. So a reasonably long time, I think.
But you'd always had this in your back of your head, I suppose. It's like, right, I want to do something of my own at some stage.
Yeah.
And that was the sort of the trigger to actually, I possibly can do this in recruitment and still have my own business. What sort of time period then was that from you really thinking, yes, I can do this, to then actually getting your business launched?
So, do you know, I don't think it was a huge amount of time, because I almost, when I'd seen the advert and had that first conversation with SSG, it was kind of a bit of a light bulb moment. And then I met with SSG, and the ball just started rolling from there, because I knew it was something that I could do, you know, with that sort of support and backing. So I think I probably had the meeting in September. I registered the business in, I think it was November, and I actually started my first day in the business in the following May.
And what year was this?
That was 2010.
2010. So you've been going a while then.
Yeah, 15 years this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exciting. And tell us a bit more about the business then, Rhodium.
So when I worked for the last guy, because he said to me, you know, I could do kind of whatever I wanted. I kind of happened to fall into the sector, purely because I had a couple of candidates that applied for a couple of roles, and then I picked up a couple of clients, and then, you know, I then started speccing out the candidates, and then that sort of developed over a period of time into that whole sort of sector of wholesalers, merchants, distributors, and I just really enjoyed it. I enjoyed speaking to the candidates and to the clients, and I did all right, actually.
So tell us about your business, about Rhodium then.
Right. Okay. So when I worked for a previous agency, I was, you know, allowed to develop whatever business I liked on both temp and perm, and I just happened to, you know, speak to some candidates who had particular sort of background, wholesalers, merchants, distributors sort of background, and speccing those out to potential clients. I then developed a bit of a client base, and, you know, over a period of time that kind of grew, and I really enjoyed that. We did permanent and temp work as well, particularly in 2008 when we had the credit crunch.
Yeah.
And then we went back to sort of more permanent work. But I because I really enjoyed speaking with the candidates and the clients, and I was successful at it. I made placements. I think when I kind of realised that I wanted to run my own business, I think it sort of made sense that it was something that I enjoyed, because I think you can only be successful in something that you've
got to enjoy it, haven't you?
You've got
Absolutely.
to enjoy it, particularly in recruitment.
Yeah.
You have to enjoy your sector. So when I started the business, that was the plan that I had, was to start up with wholesalers, merchants, distributors, you know, with that sort of client base. And because I had an understanding of that industry already, so I utilised that experience I built up over the previous 2.5-3 years, and brought that with me and set up in 2010.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and that makes complete sense. Like I said, it's important to do what you like. If you're going to set up a business, what's the point in doing something you don't enjoy? But also previous successes generally dictate future successes, right? It gives you that confidence to know that I can do this for an agency, I could do this for myself as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think when you go to start your own business, you have to be confident that you can do it. I would never say overconfident. I don't think that's a good. You've got to be kind of the right amount of confidence.
Yeah.
You've got to believe in yourself, haven't you?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And I think you have to continue believing in yourself as well. When you're running a business, all right, you might make a few kind of cock-ups along the way, but you
learn from that.
You learn from them. And I think as long as you still believe in yourself that you can do it, you retain that positivity, which I think is so essential as as the main person in the agency, because that filters down to all your staff as well. So I think that's totally essential, definitely.
You're talking about your staff there, and we want to get into on this podcast, I suppose, is how you've built that team since you launched Rhodium. Your team is remote, based around the UK. So how does that work? Any sort of challenges that you've had over the years in doing that? Have you ever thought of kind of bringing everyone together? How does that dynamic work for you?
So I've always had remote workers at one point or another in the business. They've been different people, although because I've moved offices, I had somebody when I first started who worked remotely from me. Then when I moved my office, they worked in the office, but I had a different person working remotely for me. So I've always had remote people, which I think works really well. Initially, those two people I knew fairly well, having both worked in an office with me at one point or another in my career. So I think one of the challenges that I felt about hiring remotely was that I didn't know the person, and I didn't know.
So it helped you then that your first hires you already knew previously. So I suppose that your first,
the trust is there, right?
Yeah, the trust is there.
More of the challenge was when you had your first hire that you didn't know that was completely sort of new to you, and how that would work going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was kind of the biggest challenge for me, but I think that once you've done it once. And using that sort of experience that I'd already gained from having one or two people working remotely for me, it gave me a bit more of an understanding how to be able to manage people working remotely. And up till 2020, I did have an office in one place or another. So I always had people working in an office, but always someone remote as well. But then obviously COVID arrived, got rid of the office. And then I just had remote workers because it worked. We had a small team. And actually I just thought this is the way to go, because it means that when I hire people, they don't have to be local to a particular place. I can just hire the best people.
And it's so much easier these days to be able to do that.
Absolutely, regular Teams meetings. I meet up with people. We try and kind of gather people at things like the SSG events, which are brilliant for bringing everyone together. But we also, as much as possible, meet up. But we have really regular Teams meetings as well.
And you talked about management there as well. Is that something that came easy to you?
No.
Or I think it's not an easy thing. It's a lot of people, especially like I guess with people in the recruitment world who have got a history in recruitment, don't necessarily have a history or the skill set in management, and that's a whole new skill set that you have to learn and probably have to make mistakes to get through until you actually become an efficient manager. So, what was your sort of journey through management, I suppose?
Well, I made quite a few mistakes, especially earlier on. And I think, the bigger mistakes were hiring the wrong people, which I think is really easy to do, especially early on.
Is that because you were looking for you?
I don't necessarily think it was I was looking for me. I was looking for someone who was better than me.
Right.
But also I was very generous when I took people on, because maybe I didn't drill deep enough. They said certain things that I thought, I'll take them for their word.
Yeah.
But I think over a period of time, I kind of recognise now, after 30 years in recruitment, that actually some recruiters don't want to recruit. and I've found some of those.
Another common theme,
Yeah. I've found some of those whilst I've been hiring, yeah.
It's the hardest thing though, isn't it? Like, it's often a common theme, I think, when any recruitment founder is growing their business. The hardest thing is hiring for yourself.
Yes.
I think.
I totally agree. So much easier hiring for my clients than it is hiring for myself. Yeah, definitely.
And so obviously with those, you know, the mistakes you make, and like we said, it's a learning curve. So now, in terms of when you're looking at hiring people, what's the key things you're looking for? Because obviously there must be challenges, I guess, when speaking with new people that maybe want a bit more of an office environment, perhaps, or how do you kind of, you know, what do you look for in people? How do you kind of manage what your culture is like being remote?
So I think there's 5 of us now in the team, and we all get on exceptionally well, and there is a particular dynamic between us all. And I have actually spoken to, you know, some of the team recently about this, because I think that whoever I hire next, one of the main priorities for me, of course, as part from the fact that they've got to be able to recruit, you know, is that they kind of gel well with the rest of the team.
You're going to be the right fit for your culture.
But ever since I've been hiring remotely, my final stage when I'm doing interviews is the potential recruiter for me has a Teams meeting with the rest of the team without me.
Okay.
So that
That's interesting.
That they can all meet and, you know, I don't tell them very much about the person. I don't tell them what to ask. I just say, you know, organise a Teams meeting. There we go. You can meet them, see what you think.
Yeah.
They're probably your best judges because they've been through that. They know how they've gone through that process.
Yeah.
They'll get a good idea of whether they think that person's a right fit for the culture that they've been through.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think then, because they'll be joining them as a team, us as a team, you know, it's as much their decision as it is mine.
Yeah.
You know, I can put forwards, I suppose in some ways I'm relinquishing responsibility, maybe.
But also it's great for the prospective new hire, right? Because like you said, if the whole interview process was just with you, which is fine, you're the founder of the company, they'll report into you, but ultimately they kind of want to know who else is in the business, who they're working with. That's really important, isn't it?
I think it is crucial, because I think recruitment can be a very lonely job when you're having a terrible day, and we all know we have these massive ups and downs in recruitment. And I think when you know that you are working remotely but you feel part of a team, you know, we WhatsApp each other, we, you know, Teams message each other, we email each other, we talk to the phone on the phone, you know, we are constantly in touch with each other with either a moan about something, or God, guess what happened here, or something really hilarious just to make us laugh, as if we were in the office together. And I think that really helps, because we don't just have a Teams meeting, say twice a week, and then that's it. There's no contact between anybody else in the interim. We are constantly communicating with each other as if we were in the office together, and I think that is part of what gels us together.
I think that's interesting. You think you've managed to kind of take the office atmosphere and still keep that going, even though you're not in the office all the time?
Yeah, definitely. Although I have said recently as well that it's a good job we don't all work in the office together, because we'd get nothing done because we chatter too much. I'm the worst culprit. But yeah, it's so I think it's nice because everybody feels supported and they can contact anybody within the team and ask questions. You know, I had my newest recruit, I had her review just a couple of days ago, and it's one of the things that she said. She feels that she can call anybody, message anybody, speak to anybody if she's got a question about anything. You know, there isn't anyone that she feels that, oh no, I wouldn't, you know. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, massively, isn't it? I think it's great because I think that's probably the, you know, everyone talks, there's always on LinkedIn, you see it all the time, don't you, office remote debate.
Yeah.
It comes up all the time. And I guess, you know, from a remote perspective, there are pros in terms of the flexibility and its trust that your employer has in you and everything. But like you said, it can be lonely. And to know that you can, there's still people there as if you were in an office. That's got to be a powerful attraction to anyone wanting to join the business as well. Then.
Yeah. I think so, because I think it's really important. You know, recruitment, as I've already said, has got so many ups and downs, and you just want someone to feel supported when you're having a bit of a down period, and that includes me as well. You know, because it still gets to me even after 30 years, and you just want to let off a bit of steam somehow, you know. But also, you know, all these regular kind of meetings, Teams meetings that we have, you know, it's really good just to talk general chit chat, you know, whether it's about the candidates that we've got or what clients are doing or how we manage a particular scenario. You know, everybody picks up things from everybody else talking about stuff as if we're in the office.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. And you, obviously you were kind of forced into this situation a bit through COVID.
Yeah.
Did you at that point think a short-term thing, once kind of the world returns to normal, back to kind of an office situation, did you think that would be the case?
When I initially gave up the office, you know, I did it for financial reasons, obviously, because of COVID. So gave up the office, and at that point I had 2 people working for me, and so they both work remotely from me. So one lives in the same county, but you know, about 45 minutes away, and the other person lives in Derbyshire, so hours away. And we work remotely from each other when we all, you know, we came back from being furloughed and what have you. And I did think, actually, maybe I should get an office, but I didn't get round to it. And as time kind of went on, I just thought, actually, this is working better than it thought it would do. And then in 2021, you know, business came back with a vengeance. You know, our sector was phenomenally busy, and I just didn't have time to think. So I knew I needed somebody. I needed to take somebody on. And I just thought, I'm going to look for the best person that I can find that can work remotely.
And that opened up the market for you as well. Not having to have, you know, people within a 45-minute commute to where your office was based.
Exactly. Yeah. So because the best person I found is about 3 hours away from me, I think one of their worries was, well, what happens if I did get an office? But you know, I'm making sure that I'm assuring anyone that joins us that actually we're not going to go down that route, because we're also spread out. The 5 of us are also spread out from each other, you know, and it works really well. So I think when I took on that third person to work remotely, it was before that point that I thought, actually, this is going to work, and I'm going to do a few things perhaps slightly differently, because obviously I didn't know that person that I was taking on. And as it happened, she joined, and she was absolutely phenomenal, really excellent. She was a resourcer, and she supported me because I was so busy. And the pair of us worked just really well together, communicated really well, and I just thought, this is the way to go. So that's how I ended up thinking, actually, the next person is going to be another remote person as well. It just opens up the doors to finding a good person rather than someone that's just local, you know, within an hour of where I live or whatever.
Yeah. And I guess it opens up then, from a BD element, opportunities to broaden, see clients who are located nationally anyway. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, all the consultants can, if they want to, go and see any of their clients. You know, because I'm down in the south, I do tend to stick to sort of people down in the south. but I have been all over the UK at some point or another to go and see clients. But yeah, I think, I mean, I didn't know that this might be a benefit, but I know that we've got clients in the north, and one of my colleagues is from the north, and I think that Yorkshire accent helps.
Helps to build that rapport, doesn't it? Yeah. Someone local. Yeah.
But sometimes it also helps in reverse as well, because I think you stand out if you're talking to someone from the south, but you've got a Yorkshire accent. They'll remember you because you're the person with the Yorkshire accent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Works both ways.
It works both ways.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
So you talked a bit about COVID and the effect that COVID had on your business, as it obviously did with thousands of other businesses. What are these sort of highs and lows outside of COVID that you've experienced in your 15 years of running your own business?
I think probably hiring staff.
Yeah.
That is, I'm going to have to say, and having spoken to other recruitment people as well, I think it's a challenge.
Yeah.
And I think particularly when earlier on in running my business, because I think I was a bit naive. I think I had a different outlook on what I was looking for, how I was going about hiring. But I think over the 15 years, I'd like to hope that I've matured a little bit.
Yeah.
And sort of developed my skills a little bit more. But do you know, that's still not to say that I don't make mistakes, because I still do.
So the story is some of those lows turn into highs as well. So what you said about the lows and the highs, actually, some of those lows maybe when you first launched your business, and maybe down to sort of skill set, wherever it was that the challenges that you faced then are less challenges now, obviously, because of, you've been through it, you've got more experience in those areas.
Yeah, definitely. I think that I've matured as a person, definitely. And I think so when I'm recruiting for myself, I think I'm applying some of the skills obviously I've learned over the 30 years, but I think I'm also being a little bit more drilling down to make sure I find the right person, what their motivations are, and those sorts of things. I've got to kind of believe that they can do it. They've got to convince me that they can do it as well, and they've got to want to do it as well, because I think any business development, isn't it? Recruitment is always business development. So I think that over the last, I would say 5 years, I think my ability to recruit for my own business has definitely improved. Yeah. First 5 years, I would say, probably a bit disastrous in some.
So good story then. We've turned the low into
hindsight, isn't it, a lot?
Yeah, it's hindsight. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So again, it's all learning from those bad hires to then, you don't want that.
Yes.
So then it's knowing, and that's how you develop kind of, like you said, knowing what you want to hire, and also probably along the way knowing what your business kind of stands for and what you want it to stand for, I guess, as well.
Yeah, I think looking back as well, I can, if I look back on a particular poor hire, I can think, did I ask that? Did I ask that? Did I drill down on that?
Did I do my job properly?
Did I? Yeah, exactly. Did I do? No, I didn't. I didn't do my job properly. And, hands up, I would say, definitely that is the case. But I think, realistically, I didn't really know what I should be doing. I've kind of come to the point that I am from learning by doing.
Yeah. And obviously then, have you had to change it? Because obviously, I suppose from a commission perspective, have you changed that over time? Did you just sort of finger in the air, sort of put, I'll do this for a commission structure initially, and then change it, evolve it over time? How did you think about it initially?
So my commission structure has changed probably 3 times in the 15 years. It's always been generous. I'm generous with my commission structure, but I think people need to be rewarded for the work they do.
Yeah.
So when I first set up, I think what I did was, if I recall looking back, is I just thought, well, I'd want a better commission structure than what I'd previously had. Because the ones I always had were, now that I look back, and funnily enough, I did look back recently, I just thought, oh my God, that's hardly anything.
Care to share?
Oh, yeah. So I can't remember the exact percentages, but I remember doing, I was on a project which I worked on, which did £100,000.
Yeah.
And I got £1,500 for that.
Oh.
So no wonder you wanted to start up on your own, hey?
Yeah.
Wow. God.
That was a long time ago, but it's still a shocking amount of money, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you went in at 2% commission just to make that a little bit more attractive.
Yeah, my commission structure, I think it is very attractive. From what I understand, if you compare it to other companies, what they have, my threshold is lower. I've changed it from monthly to quarterly because I think that's fairer for the business and also fairer for the staff as well.
Okay.
I think that, you know, they have a threshold for the quarter. Once they hit that threshold, then they get a percentage of what they bill over that threshold. And the threshold just covers their costs.
Of course, desk fee.
Yeah. So
were those changes well received with you, especially the ones that have been there sort of longer term, I suppose?
I think that there was always a bit of a question mark, perhaps, but I tried to explain why and show them in figures.
And if you've built that trust, then
yeah. And actually now it makes total sense to them.
Yeah.
I think that
because if the earning potential's still there.
Yes.
And so long, and I think that's it, right? Because communicating with them the reasons why.
Yeah.
Then putting them onto where you're coming from with this makes them feel more involved in the process, I guess, as well.
Because I think if you when you look at it, if you have a threshold that's over a quarter to work at, then you've got those 3 months to work on it. Whereas if that's divided per month, then you've got to get that threshold every single month. Now, if, say, the second month, you don't quite hit that threshold, then that amount of money that you've earned in that month doesn't count. That doesn't count. Whereas across 3 months, it does count.
Yeah.
You know, so
their earning potentials, they got more opportunity to earn better through doing it that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Who's not going to sign up today?
Exactly. Well, I think so. I would if I was looking for a job.
Did you and what made you? Did someone did you analyse yourself that you needed to change the commission structure, or was it through discussions with someone, or did you look at how other businesses were doing it? How did you kind of come to making that? Because it is a big decision and probably quite scary when you think, oh God, I've got to tell my staff that I'm changing the commission structure.
Yeah, I think it was looking at what other companies were doing.
Okay.
Thinking back on the different ways that we had commission in my previous roles, but nothing was kind of very similar. And just looking at how, I looked at the figures for what, consultants did per month and what that would mean if it was divided across 3 months, and what it meant for the business and also what it meant for the consultants. And just the administration of monthly commission is also a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of factor that in as well. So I think that was kind of how I came to the decision. I think really by looking at what if I changed it from monthly to quarterly, what would that look like? And for the consultant, it didn't look very much different, but for the business, I think it looked different.
Yeah. From a cash flow kind of perspective, it was a lot more solid. Yeah.
It made more business sense.
Yeah. When it came to kind of the first hires, was it a case of, okay, I've got enough money here, I always had plans to hire at this time? How did you kind of
Oh, when I went from solo to having a first person. I think it was, I was thinking about it when I'd got to about a year in, because I always knew that I didn't want to be just a sole recruiter. I wanted to kind of grow it, but grow it not too quickly, steadily. And the person that I thought of, I knew already. I'd worked with her already, so I'd had conversations with her about joining the business, and was it the right thing to do? So when she became available, she joined me, and we both at that point worked remotely from each other.
Okay. And were there any ever concerns from a cash flow element when you ever hired anyone at all, where you're like, bit of a risk, might not be able to, if this person doesn't get up and billing at some point, I'm in trouble with the business? Or did you very much make sure?
I would never risk the business. I've always made sure that I've got enough in the bank to support the business and the hires, plus the new hire for a period of time, more than 3 months. So I think by doing that, you are never risking anybody else. So the only person that needs to worry about it is the person that's joining the business, because they need to perform in their probation period to be able to remain with the business, and then if they're performing, then that's great, they're bringing money in, of course I can pay them.
Exactly.
And you have a duty of care to the whole team as well,
of course,
don't you?
Absolutely,
to not risk the business, and you're safeguarding everyone's position, aren't you, I suppose?
Absolutely. I think that is,
business comes first, right, in terms of that thought process. Is it sustainable? Absolutely.
I'm quite risk averse, and especially with a scenario like that, that just wouldn't be something I would do at all. No, I'd absolutely make sure we were rock solid foundation for the next person.
What's kind of next for Rhodium then? What does, obviously 15 years in now, so what does the future look like?
So obviously the business is still growing. I think that the next move potentially is to hire another consultant. And obviously bearing in mind all the things I've already said, they would need to be the right fit. So I wouldn't take somebody on unless I knew that they were going to be the right fit for the business and for the team. So that would be, my next plan, ideally.
Have you ever thought about sort of new markets or different countries?
I've not thought about different countries. I think for us, sticking in the UK is what we know, what we understand. I wouldn't want to overstretch anybody, particularly if, we don't have a huge amount of experience of anything.
Having the expertise is right.
And the market in the UK is big enough. Our sectors are very much, you can go up the food chain, you can go further down the food chain. So there is, it might sound in some ways like a very niche sector, wholesale, merchants, distributors, construction suppliers, building products. But actually you've got the wholesalers, you've got the manufacturers. If you look at electrical, you've got electrical wholesale, but you've also got, let's say, lighting manufacturers, cable manufacturers.
Scope for growth.
There's a big pie out there.
There's plenty that we haven't really touched. But we stick to our core, what we know, and then I would gradually kind of grow and develop in those sectors. But we've got to have the right person that we go back to enjoying the sectors. We've got to have the right person. I know that one of our sectors, bathrooms and kitchens, is quite different to tool and plant hire and electrical wholesale. And you've got to kind of quite enjoy dealing with sales designers and showroom consultants and that sort of thing, and talking all about, you know, these lovely bathroom and kitchen products that are out there. You know, so it's about finding the right person that likes that sector as well.
And what advice would you give to anyone sort of wanting to start, anyone in recruitment who's looking at starting their own business? What advice would you give them?
So I think that one of the things I'd definitely say is you need to talk to SSG. That's definitely
plug.
something
You
I
didn't
would
have to say that.
Great
Yeah,
plug.
no, but that is something that I would say. I think that you need to kind of prepare. So you need to make sure that you are going to enjoy what you're going to be doing, that you're resilient enough to keep going, that you've got that positivity to keep that mindset in the right place, to be able to take the knocks on your own, because you're going to start off as a sole recruiter, you know, probably. And I think that practically, you know, whatever you do right now, you need to have at least 3 months financial stability behind you. So when you start your business, you know, if you're billing in your second month and that invoice isn't due until the third month, you've got, you know, it's 3 months before you're going to be bringing stuff in. So have at least 3 months in the bank.
Yeah, there's a shortfall always.
To definitely cover your costs. Work from home office, you know, so you don't have to spend.
Save the costs.
Save the costs. Keep your overheads as low as possible.
Yeah.
And sell.
Sell.
Yeah,
Just hard work, right?
It is about that plan B as well, isn't it? Because, you know, a lot of those clients that you potentially want to bring on board, you've got restrictive covenants, you know, it's not always going to be that easy. Where is your first hire coming from?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you need to be quite strategic in what you're doing.
Yeah.
So you need to have a good think before you even move, before you set up, on where would I get those placements from? How am I going to go about it? What am I, you know, what and who am I going to target?
Yeah, and why, right?
Why? Do you remember much of your sort of initial business plan and sort of how much that's, if you looked back at it now, I suppose, what would you change, or how has that changed?
I do remember what I was planning before I first started, and I remember on my first day just picking up the phone and banging out those calls. And mine, I tried not to take I didn't have restrictive covenants, but I didn't want to necessarily take my clients with me, just because I didn't feel it was fair. It wasn't something I wanted to do to the agency that was leaving behind.
Fair enough.
I mean, obviously, if somebody contacted me, you know, I was going to speak to them.
Yeah.
But I didn't go out searching.
Okay.
But I did know of what markets there could be.
Yeah.
And I went out looking for those vacancies. So that was what I did when I very first started 15 years ago. I would probably say that I'd do the same thing now.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good to hear.
Yeah, I would do the same thing now, because I think that's what I know.
Yeah.
You know, and I would still probably revert to that when I need to, you know, pick up some new vacancies. That's what I would be doing. I'd just be getting on the phones and thinking, right, okay, where's my plan? What clients do I have in mind that I want to bring on board?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is, isn't it? It's a targeted approach rather than I'm just going to call 20 businesses because I've found
I've got
20
listed 20
businesses.
no.
For the sake of it.
Yeah, there's no point in doing that.
Yeah.
I think it's got to, and I think what works for us is because we're a specialist agency, you know, we are offering something to potential clients. So I feel that, you know, we have a good understanding of our sectors. So, for example, you know, we might have a specific candidate that's looking for work and, you know, that would fit a company like this because they've got previous experience in a similar company. So, you know, would that potential client be interested in that particular candidate?
Mm.
You know, so we do go out to market quite a lot like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how, because that's exactly the way for repeat business, right? Rather than just the one-off contingent. I filled one role, move on to the next client.
Yeah.
That's how you build up those relationships. And business development isn't always new business development. It's just with repeat clients a lot as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you know, I think that gives a different mindset to, you know, the client, because you're not asking for something, you're offering something, which I think is a different way of selling.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't necessarily want something from them, you're asking if they want this.
Yeah.
Candidate.
Yeah. For X fee.
Yeah.
But obviously.
How good is your value proposition?
Yeah, exactly that, right? Yeah, what you bring to the table, what value are you adding? Exactly. Yeah. Fantastic. So I think that's everything we've covered, unless there was anything else you wanted to cover, Julie. I think we've got everything we had on here.
Yeah, that's really good. Good conversation.
Yeah. Well, that was good. We covered some good topics there.
I felt just like chatting in someone's front room.